Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are going to stare down a problem that I think pretty much every single person listening has felt at some point.
Oh, for sure. It's that specific feeling you get at maybe 3:00 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, the house is quiet.
Yes, exactly. And you just get that sinking suspicion that the life you're living might not actually be yours.
The 3:00 a.m. existential crisis.
Yeah.
It's a universal tension.
It really is. It's that high-stakes battle between meeting the world's expectations,
Yeah.
doing what your parents wanted, what your boss expects,
What society says is the right path.
right, versus finding your actual authentic self. And to help us navigate this, we've got a stack of sources today that is, eclectic is putting it mildly.
It is a very strange dinner party we're hosting today.
It truly is. We're looking at excerpts from The Uncommon Key. We've got insights from NFL legends like Tony Dungy, some poetry from, of all people, the golfer Mo Norman.
And business philosophy from Peter Drucker and Seth Godin. We've even got Dr. Seuss and Bob Marley in the mix.
It sounds chaotic, but you're right. When you lay them all out, they are all pointing at the same specific mission.
They are. We're trying to figure out why we get trapped living what the sources call borrowed lives. Why do we wake up and realize we're strangers to ourselves?
And more important,
More importantly, what's the uncommon key to getting our own voices back?
and to show that this isn't just some abstract philosophy, we have to start with a story from the stack that honestly blew my mind. It's about Michael Westbrook.
The Michael Westbrook paradox. This is, the perfect case study to start with.
So for anyone listening who might not follow 90s football, Michael Westbrook was an absolute beast, a college All-American at the University of Colorado.
He's famous for the miracle at Michigan.
One of those Hail Mary plays that gets replayed every single year. He catches this 64-yard touchdown pass as time expires. It's incredible.
So he's a hero. He goes to the NFL, plays 8 years for the Redskins and Bengals. He is at the absolute pinnacle of physical performance.
By every single metric society gives us. Fame, money, status, physical dominance. He has won the game.
He's made it.
But then, here's the twist. At age 30, right in his physical prime, Westbrook just stat. He walks away. He retires from the NFL to pursue mixed martial arts.
And in an interview later, he drops this bombshell. He just confesses, I never even liked football.
That statement just stops you cold, doesn't it?
And I never even liked it.
It's so confusing. You play a sport that brutal for that long at that elite level, and you don't even like it. How do you survive training camp?
And that is the tragedy the sources are highlighting. It wasn't that he quit a job he hated, because the pay was bad.
Right.
It's that he spent decades excelling at something that just didn't resonate with his soul. He did it because he was good at it and because it was expected of him.
That's the definition of the borrowed life.
Precisely. The text describes this as automating someone else's vision for your life. Somewhere between being a kid and becoming an NFL star, the signal got lost.
He couldn't hear his own voice.
No, because the noise of everyone else clapping for him was just too loud.
There was a quote in the reading from Imelda Marcos, of all people, that really jumped out at me here.
Oh, yeah.
She said, "My dreams have become puny with the reality my life has become."
Puny. Wow. That is such a devastating word choice.
It is, because from the outside, Westbrook's reality looked massive. Huge stadiums, millions of dollars.
Fans wearing his jersey.
Exactly. But inside, it felt puny because the dream didn't belong to him.
And that's the synthesis we need to grasp here. Westbrook was running on someone else's fuel. The sources suggest that when we live these borrowed lives, we are usually driven by one of two things.
Seeking approval.
Or running away from disappointment.
But isn't that unsustainable? Eventually, the tank has to run dry.
Completely. When you run on someone else's fuel, the engine eventually burns out. You feel hollow because the victory, even if it's a Super Bowl, doesn't actually belong to you.
You're just holding the trophy for someone else.
That's it.
So this begs the question, how does this even happen? I doubt Westbrook woke up one morning at age 12 and said, you know what, I think I'll live a fake life for the next 20 years.
No, of course not. It's subtle. It creeps up on you, one yes at a time. And the sources give us this incredible, slightly terrifying metaphor for how that happens. It comes from Mo Norman.
Mo Norman, the Canadian golfer.
Yeah.
Known for being a genius ball striker,
Some say the best ever.
but also extremely eccentric.
A total nonconformist. He wore wild clothes, played super fast, did not fit the country club mold at all, and apparently he's a poet. He wrote a piece called I Have a Little Robot.
I read this, and it reads like a quiet horror story. It is not your typical golfer poetry.
It's psychological.
So the poem, it describes this robot that follows us around.
Mm-hmm.
And at first it's innocent. We tell the robot our hopes, our fears, what we see, and the robot just, it listens, it obeys. But Norman writes that after years of training, something shifts. The robot starts to take over. And the closing line is, no matter what I try now, he tells me what to do.
That is the mechanism of the borrowed life. The robot represents the accumulated expectations of our parents, our coaches, our culture. But here's the key point the sources make.
We train the robot.
We train it. That's the scary part. We're the programmers.
So every time you say yes to something you hate, just to please someone else, you're feeding the robot data.
Exactly. Every time you suppress a weird hobby because it's not cool, you are programming the robot, and eventually the robot knows your routine better than you do. You're living on autopilot.
It's like the robot is driving the car and you're locked in the trunk.
And you hand it the keys because it was easier than driving yourself.
The sources, they dig a little deeper into where this robot comes from, especially with family. There's this fascinating, kind of heavy observation in the text about the father figure.
I remember this.
It says, every successful man is either trying to live up to the expectations of his father or to live down the sins of his father.
Ooh, that hits hard. It's all about shadows. We are so often shaped by our father's hopes, their failures, their unfinished business.
So the advice in the text is that you have to know your demons to harness them.
Right. If you don't recognize that you're running a race your dad set up for you, you are just the robot. You aren't making choices, you are executing a program.
And Bob Marley, shifting gears from Gulf poetry to reggae.
A natural transition.
He had to take on this too. He called this date an ego trip.
Now, usually when I hear ego trip, I think of someone being arrogant, strutting around, full of themselves.
Me too. But Marley seems to mean something different here.
He does. He's not talking about vanity. He said you're sailing on an ego trip, which he defines as being a million miles from reality. For Marley, an ego trip is being disconnected from the truth.
That's a crucial distinction.
It is. The robot or the ego isn't just about pride. It's about performance. It's about being separated from your authentic self. As long as you are performing a role,
The good son, the corporate ladder climber.
the tough athlete, you are not living in reality. You're living in a construct made of other people's opinions.
Okay, so let's say we realize we are on this ego trip. The robot is currently screaming orders at us.
Huh?
How do we stop? How do we pull the plug?
The sources turn to some ancient wisdom here, Epictetus.
The Stoic philosopher, I feel like the Stoics always have some brutal truth waiting for us.
They do.
Yeah.
And his solution, it sounds simple, but it is actually incredibly difficult. He just says keep silence for the most part.
Silence. In our current world, that feels almost impossible. If I have 5 seconds of downtime, my hand is already reaching for my phone.
And that's exactly why it's a radical act. I mean, think about our modern world. It is a wall of sound. Social media, ads, podcasts.
Your family, your coworkers, everyone has an opinion on who you should be.
So if you're constantly inputting data from the outside, there is no room for output from the inside.
Right.
Silence is the only way to distinguish your own voice from the robot's commands. You have to stop performing long enough to actually hear what is going on inside.
But let's be real. Sitting in silence is uncomfortable. It's actually really hard to just sit there and be quiet with yourself. The brain starts itching.
It's uncomfortable because it requires skills that we don't value enough.
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk is quoted in the stack saying something I love.
What's that?
The soft skills are the hard skills.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because in business or sports, hard skills are things like coding or accounting or catching a football. Soft skills are usually just dismissed as being nice.
Right, good manners, but Vaynerchuk is flipping that upside down. Hard skills technical masteries are actually easier because they are measurable. You can take a test, you can see the result.
You can learn Excel in a weekend if you have to.
Exactly. But self-awareness,
Yeah.
empathy, patience, the ability to sit in silence and face your own demons, those are brutal to master.
There was a great analogy in the notes from Rajon Rondo, the NBA player, about game film.
Yes. Rondo is a student of the game, known for his high basketball IQ. He says the film is the answer to the test.
So if you want to fix your jump shot, you watch the tape, you see your elbows flying out, so you tuck it in, you fix it.
It's a clear feedback loop. You see the error, you correct it. But there is no game film for authenticity. You can't watch a tape to see the exact moment you sold out your dreams to make your mom happy.
No coach blows a whistle when you betray your own values.
None. That's why the soft skills are the hard skills. You're kind of flying blind. You have to rely on your own internal navigation.
And doing that work is scary. The sources are really honest about this. Becoming yourself isn't just about following your bliss and skipping through a meadow
No, it means doing things you've never done before.
and risking the disappointment of others.
That is the scariest step for so many people. It means saying no to that promotion that looks amazing on LinkedIn but makes you miserable.
It means disappointing people who love you but don't understand you.
It is stepping into the unknown. If you want something you've never had, an authentic life, you have to do something you've never done, which usually involves stepping off the path that was cleared for you.
So, okay, let's get practical. We've silenced the robot, or at least we're trying to. We're ready to disappoint some people. What's the actual strategy?
Well, the sources give us a mantra from baseball, of all places. Steve Springer, a legendary hitting coach.
His advice is slow feet, fast hands, quiet head.
And even if you've never held a baseball bat, this translates perfectly to a life philosophy.
Let's break it down. Slow feet. What does that mean for someone working in an office?
Slow feet means staying grounded, not being frantic. We live in a world that wants you to sprint, to hustle, to grind.
Right.
Slow feet means you move deliberately, you stay balanced, you don't let the pace of the world dictate your pace. You are planted.
Okay. Fast hands.
Fast hands is about decisiveness. In
Mhm.
baseball, you wait, and then bam, when the right pitch gives.
The opportunity that actually aligns with you.
Yes, the authentic one. You don't hesitate. You act. You swing.
So it's patience followed by explosive action. You don't swing at everything.
Exactly. The robot swings at everything because it thinks it has to. The authentic self waits for the right pitch.
And the big one, which connects back to Epictetus, quiet head.
A quiet head means you don't let the chaos of others' expectations confuse you. You know, imagine being in the batter's box, the crowd is screaming, the pressure is on.
If your head is noisy, if you're worrying about what the fans think or what your stats are, you are going to miss the ball.
You have to be focused on your process, not their noise. You have to trust your eyes.
But here's the fear everyone has. What happens if you swing and miss? Because if you step off the script, if you quit the NFL to do MMA, you might fail.
You will fail. Failure is part of the process. And the source material brings in Richard Feynman, the physicist, on this point. He says, we shouldn't just teach children how to succeed. We have to teach them how to respond when they fail.
So resilience.
It's deeper than just resilience. It's about redefining what failure even means. Look, if you fail while living your borrowed life, if you fail at the job you only took to please your dad, it destroys you.
Why?
Because you were only doing it for the approval. If you don't get the approval, you have nothing left. You sold your soul and didn't even get the receipt.
Oof, that's a bleak image.
But if you fail while pursuing your authentic self, that's just data. That's feedback. You're still on your path. You still have yourself. You can say, well, that didn't work, but at least I'm driving the car.
That connects to Peter Drucker's idea in the stack. He calls himself a social ecologist.
Drucker was brilliant at seeing systems. He noted that society always has to balance continuity, keeping things stable, with innovation and change. And he argues individuals have to do the same thing.
So we have to balance who we are with who we are becoming.
Exactly. There's a tension there. You can't just burn everything down every day. You need a core identity. That's the continuity. But you also need to grow and change. That's the innovation.
And the robot wants pure continuity.
It wants you to stay the same forever because that's safe. Authentic life requires that dangerous element of change.
And even when that change is messy, the sources remind us there are two things we always control.
Attitude and effort. Always. You cannot control the outcome. You might quit the NFL and get knocked out in your first MMA fight, but you control your attitude and your effort. And if those are aligned with your truth, you're winning, regardless of the scoreboard.
Now, I want to pivot to something very modern that the sources brought up. We've been talking about inner robots, but Seth Godin brings up the literal robots, AI.
This is a fascinating layer to add to Mo Norman's poem. Godin warns, learn to use AI or AI will use you.
That sounds ominous. How does this connect to the borrowed life?
Well, think about how algorithms work. They're the ultimate little robot. They learn our patterns, they see what we click on, what we watch, what we buy. If we are living on autopilot,
If we're living a borrowed life.
the AI learns that version of us.
Whoa, so if I'm pretending to be interested in, I don't know, luxury cars because my boss likes them and I click on a few articles.
The AI is going to fill your feed with luxury cars. It optimizes you for your inauthentic self. It reinforces the mask. It feeds the robot. That is the danger of AI using you.
It locks you deeper into the script, so the algorithm effectively becomes an external enforcer of your internal robot.
Correct. It builds a cage around you based on your fake preferences. But Godin says we can use it to repersonalize
How do we do that?
by using the tools consciously. If we use AI to offload the drudgery, the repetitive tasks that rob us of our energy, we can buy back time to be more human.
To focus on creativity, connection.
Empathy, the things the robot literally cannot do. So the technology is neutral. It's just a magnifier. If you're fake, it makes you faker. If you're deliberate, it helps you be you.
That is a terrifying thought, but also a call to action. I want to touch on one more distinction from the sources that really clarified things for me about Michael Westbrook.
Okay.
The difference between competency and authority.
This is critical. Westbrook had competency. He was incredibly skilled. He could catch the ball better than almost anyone. He was competent in the extreme.
But he didn't have authority.
No. In this context, authority isn't about being the boss. It's an equation. Competency plus passion equals authority.
I see.
When you are good at something and you love it, you have a magnetic quality. You have authority. People listen to you differently. Westbrook was competent, but because he didn't love it, he was just a very high-paid employee. He wasn't an authority in his own life.
That reminds me of the John Wooden quote in the stack. No written word, no spoken plea can teach our youth what they should be.
Nor all the books on the shelves. It is what the teachers are themselves.
You can't teach authenticity with words. You teach it by being it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want your kids to be brave and follow their dreams, but you're miserable in a job you hate because you're scared to leave, they don't hear your advice. They see your fear.
That is the ultimate parenting advice, isn't it? Stop lecturing, start living.
It's the only way. The robot cannot raise a child to be human.
We've unpacked a lot here. Michael Westbrook, Mo Norman's robot, slow feet, quiet heads. What does this all mean for the person listening right now?
It means that it is never too late. That is the good word from the sources. You can stop counting reps, just, doing things to check a box and start making them count.
Reprogramming the robot.
Exactly. You can wake up.
Uh-huh.
The sources remind us that the universe puts specific fingerprints on your life for a reason. Your weird obsessions, your specific talents, they aren't accidents. They're clues.
And I think Dr. Seuss, of all people, sums it up best. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you.
It sounds like a nursery rhyme, but it's a profound existential truth. Your unique combination of perspective and experience is your value. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs the one version of you that exists.
So here's our final provocation for you. We want you to find the robot. Identify one area of your life. Maybe it's your job or relationship. Maybe it's just how you spend your Sunday afternoons where the robot is in charge.
Where you are doing it because you should, not because you are. And ask yourself, what would happen if I turned the robot off? Just for today.
What if you had slow feet, fast hands, and a quiet head? Just for today.
It might be messy, you might disappoint someone, but you might also finally take a breath of your own air.
And that is worth the risk.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into your own potential. We'll see you next time.